My story this morning is the reason why we need safe banking in this country. The headline comes out of Law 360. Oregon cannabis business sues Neobank over bounced checks. Now, I want to emphasize this is in the complaint stage. This is
Yeah.
just the allegations by the plaintiffs against the defendants. They haven't answered yet, so I only got one side of the story. But approximately a year ago, um, let me get the name of this company here. It's Killabees Distribution up in Oregon, approached what was called a neobank. Now I looked this up, and the neobank is basically an app that will usually hooks up with a real bank, provides you with online services. They don't have brick and mortar stores to go to. So in the industry, we've had trouble finding anybody who will touch cannabis money because the requirements for SINFIN reports and it's almost impossible to do it. But when someone offers you an opportunity to have relatively cheap banking online, hey, that seems like a wonderful thing in the industry who starve for real banking. Well, it turns out that this company, Killa Bees, gave this bank $126,000 to hold for them. And they were promised that you could do withdrawals and you could then pay vendors. Okay. So apparently, um, about November, about a year ago, um, they notified this bank that, hey, we're going to need to make a withdrawal here soon. And so when they went to make the withdrawal, they were sent a check for $30,000. They bounced. So they took the check back to this neobank, and they issued another check, and the second check bounced. And at about the same time, a vendor was to be paid. They sent a request to send a check to a vendor for $22,000. That bounced. Okay, so these folks got a little pissed off. They finally got a hold of their people inside the bank, and they were told, "Oh, we no longer work there. You got to go talk to somebody else." And at some point in this, you just know their butt puckered up because it's like, shit, I've been taken here. Where's my money? I want my money. You won't give it to me. I want my money back. Crickets. January of this year, Oregon banking regulators, they took away their permit to be doing banking in Oregon. And I don't know what they require in Oregon for these neobanks. And one of the problems with these not institutions, you don't have insurance for your deposits. You can't go there and say, hey, I got fleeced for whatever, and have the federal government write you a check. And you can't really depend that they're going to have enough money in reserves, because banking regulations require that you keep a certain percentage of your assets in cash so you can pay people when they want money. I don't know the status of this, but Killer Bees decided that we're done playing games with you. So they filed a complaint in federal court, Oregon federal court, for breach of contract, covenant of good faith and fair dealing, unjust enrichment, negligence, fraudulent misrepresentations, dishonored checks. Oregon has a treble damages statute. If you write a hot check, you can be sued for treble damages. They also threw in a federal RICO charge, claiming this was a criminal enterprise, telling people what they would do with their money, knowing all along they were not going to do it. So they sued them under a RICO allegation. So we're going to wait and see what the answer is to this, if this bank has any answer to it. But the bottom line here is that you can't go to the federal government with a bank like this and say, hey, I got fleeced for $126,000. I want my money back, and have the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation send you a check. You're going to have to go fight in court. And it sounds to me like these people are judgment proof. If you can't get them to respond, if they've had their permits to operate as a bank in Oregon revoked, the odds of getting anything out of these people are slim to none, because they're an asset protection company, and you're just not, they're a corporation. You're not going to get assets out of them other than the value of their stock, and it sounds like that ain't worth a shit. So anyway, this is why we need banking, because these people are not going to get their money back. And I don't know how many others have been screwed like this by this bank. And cautionary tale, be very careful of banking in the cannabis industry, especially these things called neobanks, whatever that's supposed to be. All right, throwing it back at you guys. What do you think?
Is this bank in the Matrix?
Oregon, right?
Okay.
There's like Silicon Valley Bank all over in Oregon, right?
This is yeah, man. We're seeing more and more of these bank stories. It's like all this bank fraud because we don't have banking. It's more bank fraud going on with these new age banks. I'm guessing. Did you say they were not FDIC insured?
No, they're a neobank that usually hooks up with a legitimate bank. I don't know if they did in this case. I don't know where their money went.
So you're saying that
They're
this
not
bank was
ponying
like a
up.
fake union?
Well, it's possible. Well, I don't think so because they had to go to the Oregon regulators and get some sort of a permit to do this. So there are some rules about maintaining liquidity within your assets and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came time to come up with cash to pay people back, they shit the bed. So I don't know what's going on with these folks.
So I have a cannabis bank that I use, and not only is it a huge pain in the ass, they require like tons of compliance to just not only deposit the money, but the hoops I got to jump through. It literally takes about a 3-4 day process to even just get the funds in there, then another day or two to get them transferred out to be able to use them for like regular to my regular bank to do like Zelle and bill pay, things like that. So it's like a week long process. I got to plan to even just get money into the bank, like to go buy packaging or something, and make a bank transfer. So the point is, it's underwritten, like what you said. I guess underwritten would be the word, but it's I bank with one company, and it's all the writing and stuff is through Lead Bank, which is a different bank, and I don't know. That makes me weary. Like should I be concerned about the deposit I put in, even though it's being used for, you know, business expenses on a daily basis?
That shit
You
always
should always be
worries.
concerned about that.
Yeah, it always worries me. All of that stuff
Yeah.
always worries me constantly.
Well, and what you're describing is a problem with the FinCEN reporting. We're still looked at as drug dealers, so we've got to justify every nickel. So on your side as a business owner, you've got to have people who specialize in preparing the information for a FinCEN report for the bank to prepare. They've got to have someone there to prepare these FinCEN reports for the feds so that they're not accused of money laundering, and it just increases the cost. And we've had credit unions here in California used to charge, Jesus, hundreds of dollars, if not over $1,000 a month, just to have the damn account.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Well, I
it's
pay a
getting
monthly
better.
fee too.
Yeah, but if you get screwed by a bank, a real bank, you can get your money back up to $250,000.
Right. And there's
And
definitely no
these, there's no guarantee.
FDIC. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no FDIC. It
Oh,
doesn't
and if
sound
you
like in this
sue
situation.
a bankrupt corporation, the chances of getting more than pennies out of them are just, you're not going to get any money out of these folks. They're going to go file for bankruptcy. They've got a corporation. There's no value to what their assets are. There's nothing to divvy up in bankruptcy. It's,
So
it's just a
you're the
Well,
mess
lowest.
everywhere you look.
pretty
You're the
much.
lowest man on the totem pole when it comes to paying out. When it
Mhm.
comes to paying out when they liquidate, you as an individual are the last person that will get paid if you get paid at all.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing too, for me, for instance, now that I'm focused more just on a brand rather than I used to have a cultivation too that I just sold, but the brand itself,
Congratulations.
thanks. It's more of
Yeah.
yeah, getting past that to focus on the brand, and solely because doing the both is a challenge in itself. However, the thing about it is a brand can write off a lot more expenses as well. The grow can too, but the brand isn't technically touching the plant in a sense because we're working under the license
Under the license of the cultivator or whoever your cultivating partner
distributor.
is,
Yeah.
and distributor.
So,
Yeah.
so fortunately, like just hearing that, it's like I want to transfer, put it into the cannabis bank because it comes in cash. I got to show the manifest, the invoice, everything like you said for the FinCEN. And I've actually had a deposit held up for over a month before because they didn't, whatever they wanted extra proof and all this stuff, and it was a big mess. So anyway, my point is, the I'm gonna transfer it out straight right away. Basically, that's really what you're saying. I should just transfer it out and then use that for straight up branding expenses for my regular bank.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a good answer.
Yeah, there is.
That's the problem. Most of the problems I've had, people come to me and go, "Oh, I'm getting screwed by these banks because they didn't attach to a bank till after they're up and running and had to do something with their money." When I get a chance to work with people from the gate, we take them to accountants and we set up the banks ahead of time. So you got to build it into your structure, your finances, have all these people on board to maximize your income and protect your assets. And there still isn't a good answer because you can't use the bankruptcy courts in the federal system for plant touching businesses. You may be able to, as a licensed branding company, do that, but the basic companies don't get bankruptcy. So the best you're going to get is a receivership. We do those in our firm, and they are a mess because you lose control of your business, and the assets are just typically not there. There just isn't a good answer here. I can't give one to my clients. We have to get access to banking for real and not risk these big banks closing your accounts. I've had accounts closed. I don't grow weed anymore. I'm an attorney. I've had my accounts closed because I'm too close to the plant. There's just so much that can turn your business upside down with these nonsensical banking arrangements. I don't have good answers for people.
Same. That's why
The technology's there with blockchain, but we just keep on having shitheads mess that up. And good luck, thanks to SBF and FTX, and like we actually do have technology that can help us, but it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Which is why we need to pass safe banking now. And on that, we're going to go to a
I am
commercial.
once again asking for your financial support.
That